All right. Likutei Halacha Silcha Hashachar Halacha Gimel. Just make a Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'akol nהיה goy.
Amen.
We are holding in Seif Tes, where before we were talking about where the confusion, that people don't know where the truth lies, and they don't know what to believe anymore about themselves. So this particular reality, we're continuing on how this kind of switching, where you believe that good is bad and bad is good, applies even more. It's Seif Tes ועד שנמשכים השינויים והחילופים בין ישראל בעצמם, and the switching and the twisting, between Am Yisrael, between people, not only between a person and himself, but between the people and Am Yisrael themselves. When the next the world behaves the opposite from the truth. That the youngster will challenge, the elder, and the one who is the lowly, and will challenge, will confront the one which is honorable. Those that are really arraigned, those that are really fear Kodesh Baruch Hu, and really kosher people, that they're very despised. And those who are kalikas, light ones, and frivolous, they overcome, to rule them. The funny thing about the world that we live in today, that it has become totally okay, to deride people of Yireh Hashem, and they have all kinds of chochmas, as if, especially the Chilalim on the Charedim, that before, it used to be that there were two separate worlds. You have your world, I have my world, leave me alone, I have nothing to do with it. But now, because the Haredi population is increasing, so now they come in to rule our lives in between. By them, to put scantily clad women on huge billboards, that's okay. That's like respecting, women, right? But the separation of women and men by us is considered by them to be, exclusion of women. It's exactly the opposite of the truth. Because why? Because by them, the truth doesn't mean anything. There is no truth. We're talking about fry people. There is no truth. The truth is what they want the truth to be at this particular moment. And Reb Chaim Shmulevitz Tzad Livrocha said that, it used to be like, how come, the Germans during the Second World War were such rotzchim, and now they're so polite. They're so menschlich and everything. So he said, because then it was in vogue, it was politically correct to be rotzchim, and today it's in vogue, to be mannered, to be well mannered, but they're absolutely capable of everything. And by them, the switch is made that a baby that hasn't been born yet didn't do anybody any wrong. It's a life that could invent the cure for cancer, it could bring Mashiach, whatever it is. you can kill because the mother has a right. Yeah, so why don't you take a kid that is after he's born that the mother is, because what do you do when you tell them that the mother should not abort the child? They get all incensed. What about victims of rape? What about victims of incest? What about okay? So let's take this logical bit weiter. The child was already born. That means if a child is a child of incest that you can kill him. You have a 2-year-old kid. Okay, can you kill him because he was born out of rape? What kind of nonsense is this? That's all these switching of the shinuim. That the world is behaving with tremendous switches, that really the way it is inappropriate. And also the day of the Tanam, it was also behaving a little bit like that. As they said, I saw an upside down world. Those that are above, the abovers, are down, and those that are the lower ones are on top. How much more so now? That the lie has risen. This Reb Nosson writes on his day. How much more so today? And it is said, and the truth was thrown to the ground. At the time when Mashiach is going to come, the chutzpah will be the norm. That will be the order of the day. And the truth will be nederes, will be sectioned. It means shenasa emes adorim, that the truth becomes like sections of herds of behemoths, of sheep, each one on his own. Each one has his own truth, and it's considered to be okay. They say the truth is relative. That's the thing that they like to say. The truth is relative. It rests on which is of course a huge lie, which rests on a true metzias. The truth itself is never relative. The only thing which is relative is the application of the truth to a specific situation. Meaning, the truth is, as far as eating is concerned, that you should eat in a manner which is healthy for you. Okay? Now, the application of the truth differs. Somebody who doesn't want to eat needs to eat. A child that suffers from don't have enough weight, whatever it is. So they need to eat, fattening foods and whatever it is. Somebody in his middle ages, that has either high blood pressure or whatever, or cholesterol or whatever it is, should eat less and should eat a diet, that is v'chule. So you can say, so there's no truth, You can say that truth is relative. Sometimes you have to eat a lot, and sometimes you have to eat a little. The application of the truth is one. You should eat in a way that benefits your health. Now, how does it apply? That is relative to your situation. The application of the truth is the thing that changes. But the emes itself is the same thing. It was the same thing. And so, but by them, the emes does now. The whole thing is that what they did when they took this truth is relative definition, basically to mean there is no truth at all. You can make the truth whatever it is that you want. What, today you want to speak against Charedim? Bevakasha. But if you would take the sentences that they say about Haredim and switch the word Haredim for Arabs, or for Schwarzes, or for whatever it is, and you say the same sentence, they'll crucify you. What do you mean? You're racist and yeah. But when it comes to Haredim, that's okay. That's okay. Shem Yirachem. Shem Yirachem. Chaim. That each one says that he holds the emes. And all this comes from the switching of the Ben HaMelech that took the son of the Shifcha, of the maiden servant, took the kingdom to himself, the kingship to himself. And he chased away the real prince. And this caused the switching of the Melucha. That now, B'chalalius, in other words, that which Rabbeinu says, the story the Rebbe talks about, the switching in spirituality, where the son of the maiden servant, which means the application of the klipa, the application of the goyishkeit, has taken over, and not only this, but chased away the son of the king, and this. Mimele, it all manifests down to us that the goyim have all the melucha, and Am Yisrael is being persecuted and they're chased from their lands. And also between Am Yisrael themselves, the Reshoim, the Pikosim, they have the Mamshala, they have the richness, they have the V'bnei Yisrael Aksherim. Anim and the Elchayidin of Am Yisrael, they are poor, and they are impoverished, and they are derised, and they and are being persecuted. You can't do this, you can't do that, and they're injustices. They're all a joke. And it says, "Ubegalusa basra inun erevav reisha ama v'yirachet imasu." And in the last galus, the erevav, the people whose neshama comes from the Erevav, they call themselves Jews, they're going to be on top. They're going to be the finance minister. They're going to be, whatever. They're going to be the judges. And the Rechet, the ones those who fear Hashem, they're going to be, they will consider them like dogs. Look at the Rayam Hemna. And not only this, it becomes even more confusing, because even amongst the Israel Aksherim Be'atzma, among the Haredi society, there's a big machloikas and a big confusion. People don't know what the emes is. They're also, in Baruch Hashem, they keep themselves Shem Torah mitzvahs, and the Rebbe says that we ought to be very, very grateful to Mifosom Shel Sheker, to people who basically are false Mifosom, that people hold them to be tzaddikim. They're okay, they're Elchayidin, but they're not. Just because somebody was born because his father's a rebbe, so Baruch Hashem, the Elchayid doesn't mean that he's a tzaddik. To be a tzaddik, you need to work. It has nothing to do with a title. Keser Shem Tov, the crown of good name is munach, is placed down, and whoever it is that wants to have it, can take and put it on his head. It's not because his father was a rebbe, and if his father was a rebbe. Baruch Hashem, and his father was an Elchayid, so Mistama, he was born B'kashras, and Mistama, he grew up in a house where everything was highly. So he has a better, starting point. Baruch Hashem, he's clean, he's not bogged down with being mixed in the world, v'chula, v'chula, v'chula. So Baruch Hashem, it's a very, very good starting point. But to be a tzaddik is a whole different kind of ballgame. To be a tzaddik, you need to succeed. In other words, to make yourself a tzaddik, you need the same thing as in everything else. You need ambition, you need industry, you need consistency, you need you need to do it. You need to do it. Just because, and the thing is that Beruchnis is not like Gashmias. Beruchnis, in Gashmias, if your father was a multi-billionaire, so you're also a multi-billionaire. You work, you don't work, you have ambition, you don't have ambition. It doesn't make a difference, because it's a Gashmias-dicke thing. In Ruchnias, if your father was a tzaddik, that means that he gave you, Baruch Hashem, a good starting point. So Baruch Hashem, you have a better chance of being an Elech Yid, you have a better chance of holding it in high esteem than what you really need to do, what you really need to achieve in life is to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hashem, you're in a good starting point. So chances are that, that you're going to be good. But to be a tzaddik, that, to be really to be a tzaddik means something that you need to work on, and put everything you can into it. It's not something which is over b'Yerusha. So, and this is even between the Ksherim, they don't know where the emes is. The Baal Dor puts himself on this to confuse the world to no end. And he put the machlokes between the tzaddikim themselves. And he put in the world a lot of different filsum, a lot of different famous people that each one claims that he's the name of the game. And the Gaben tzaddikim amitim, and even amongst the real tzaddikim, not imposters, but even the real tzaddikim, he put the big machlokes that nobody where the emes is. And that's why you have to ask for HaKadosh Baruch Hu a lot to really come close to true tzaddikim ayin sham. I will drink to that. Kabbalah Hashem. And all this is a derivative, this is a manifestation of that switching, which is the source of all the switching in the world. That they want to exchange the truth with the lie. They take the lie and they make it into a truth. And look at what the Zohar says, and it says, Shoshana Sa'amakim, the rose of the valleys, the leaning of the revolving sword. This is the source of all the exchanges in the world. All the exchanges in the world that switch the truth to lie and from lie to truth in general and in particular and in the macro and the micro, all the way through at any place and any time. This is the Indian of Bircot Hashachar that first we say, we said the bracha, when we say the bracha shelo asani goy, they didn't make me a goy, didn't make me an evet, didn't make me an isha, that we make a bracha every single morning, that my neshama was not switched into a neshama of a goy, or neshama of a slave, or neshama of a woman, as the Arizal says. Nimtza she'ikar ela brachas, that the essence of these particular brachas, while she'nitzol nafsha v'chinas chalif, and that his own particular nefesh was saved from these switching that emanate from the chamber of exchanges, which is the chalifin of that prince. And this is what the first bracha what we make is birkas anoitin asachvi vina, that the giver to the rooster the sense להבחין בין יום ובין לילה, to be able to tell between day and night. דהיינו להבחין בין האור לחושך, to differentiate between light and darkness, which is the euphemistically what it means is the differentiation between emes and sheker, to be able to tell the truth from the lie. Because it is said in Divrei Rabbeinu Zal, Rabbeinu says, the sichas, which is Etzel HaMaisis, that the Rebbe, at the end of Sipur HaMaisis, there's all kinds of tidbits of conversations that the Rebbe said about the Maisis while he was telling them. And he said, there are two kinds of palaces. Bechad Dar HaMelech, in one of them the king lives, Uvasheni dara eved, and the other one hosts, is the domicile of the eved. V'shneim doimim ze legamre, and they are both identical. V'kashem meod lafchin b'neim, and it is almost identical, and it is very, very difficult to tell between them. Ki yesh kam nefashos mishkaskim, with the melech, and some in the eved. Until, because there are some nefashos, some souls that come together, they seek the truth. And from those truth seekers, this makes up like a house and a palace, which comes the residence of the truth. This is where the truth lies, this is where the melech is, kaviyachol. And anybody who wants to find the truth will find it in the house and in the palace of these nefashos, of these people that get together looking for the amas. V'yesh keneged zeh, and opposed to it, there's some nefashos that come together, banditim, that come together, and they're out, to find a release for their frustrations, for their anger, for their pain, for whatever it is. And what they do is they make what they call in Hebrew, they call the zula. They make a pad, for people to come to drink, smoke pot and do whatever, Beruchnis, and this is the house which is the residence of Sheker, which is the Pchina of the Eved. So you see here that the emes and the Sheker, the truth and the lie, is the paradigm of Melech and Eved, a king and a slave. That because the lie has risen so much, the son of the king and the son of the slave has been exchanged to the point that the sheker has overcome so much that they were under the impression that the slave is actually the king. And not only this, and the king is actually the slave. That's the lie that darkens the face of the people in the world by sheker until they switch emes and sheker and emes. They switch bad in good and good in bad, and they make a darkness as light, and light as darkness, and sweet as bitter, and bitter as sweet. As it says in Yeshaya, the problem is not that people want to be bad. People don't want to be bad. Some people are psychotic, but most people don't want to be bad. They want to be good. The thing that differentiates them is the definition of good and definition of bad. Most fry people, do you think they know from left and right? They don't have a clue. They were born in a specific society with a specific sense of value, with a value system. The society told them, this is good and this is bad. Okay? Now you're supposed to operate along that system. What do you want from them? Then somebody comes and says, no, it's the opposite. So that somebody says, no, the main thing is to serve Hashem, the main thing is Torah, whatever. They look at you like you're crazy. Or everybody is wrong and you're the only one who's right. The entire world is running after money. The entire world is running after sports. In other words, is after being a movie star and famous and rich. And you say, look at you. Look at you. And you say it's all nonsense. Who the heck are you? All these people are wrong and only you are right. What do you want from them? Of course, that's from that switching until it's very. They call the bad good and the good bad. The promiscuity is to the point that they want people to be able to marry cats and dogs. That's okay. That's enlightenment. Tznius is they call exclusion of women. They go, whoa, ugh. And it says that all these chilufim, all these bilbulim, they emanate from the chamber of exchanges. And this is all the bilbul in the world in this generation when the truth is being thrown to the ground and the truth becomes, flocks and flocks of truth until it is very, very difficult to tell the difference between the truth and the lie. And each one according to what his heart fathoms and like estimates. He is the only one that can tell a little bit between the truth and what is the nekuda of the real truth, if he will want not to cheat himself, and to look at the emes be'emes. Because the truth of the matter is this: everybody, doesn't matter how far he is. And it doesn't matter if it's somebody who is fry. It doesn't matter if somebody who is a total goy. It doesn't matter if he's a fry Jew. It doesn't even matter if he's a religious Jew. Okay? If he lives within a paradigm that has specific things that society holds to be chashav. And none of it is the emes lamitei. None of it is the real truth. The real truth, the emes lamitei, is that there is no tachas in this world except to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's it. And the derivative from this, and annex to this nekuda, is that there's no way that you can serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu without the tzaddik emes. Because you have no way to find out what the truth is in every given situation without a shepherd, without a roe ne'eman, with B'chinas Moshe Rabbeinu. I mean, how would we know what to do without Moshe Rabbeinu give us the Torah? How would you know what to do? So, okay, you had Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, you had the Shvatim, you had these huge, humongous tzaddikim, but they were tzaddikim for themselves. In 2 generations, everything will be totally gone. It's like you need a tzaddik emes, who is a shepherd that is not only able to guide you, to where you need to go, so that you can live your life the way that you need to live your life. But that he should lay down tracks for everybody to come to Kodesh Baruch Hu. And not only this, but that his Ruach should enter each and every Yid, and help guide him along. Because from the other side, the Ruach HaShtus is there, getting into everybody. It's what people don't understand is this. Anybody who has Sechel Amiti and Emunah Amitis, how come the most severe avera there is, which is Pgam HaBris, is also the most prevalent? It's like, duh. I mean, specifically, it starts when people reach puberty, and it becomes, how can it? And it's the worst of them all. Where's the antidote? Where's the antidote for this? Until, people sort of like, the seichel, comes down a little bit, each one in his own time. Some in the 50s, some in the 60s, some in the 70s, some never get out of it. They have this craziness until the end of the days. If a person is totally, gung ho on this particular Indian, then when the age comes that he can no longer do anything about it, he goes crazy. Because the taiva is still there. It's just the means to satisfy it that gone. So that's why you got, people in their 40s suddenly, when there's a young woman going around, they're sucking their belly,
I've heard enough.
No, it's without the antidote for that is the tzaddik emes, which is the ruach of the tzaddik emes that goes into everyone. It's the ruach of the tzaddik emes, the isha shel ruach ba, that gets into every single person and gives them the koyach to withstand it. It's mishamayim, it's like that. It's not. I mean, it sounds like I'm making, fun of it. But the point is that what can they do? I mean, it's the ruach of that particular thing is inherent in the blood of each and every person. What you need is the ruach of the tzaddik emes that will permeate every single limb of every single Jew. Will give him the koyach, to overcome it, to fight. Otherwise, what chance have you got? What chance have you got? Let Hashem to be continued tomorrow. Sunday, I mean. Ha, 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 ha. Well, people in the video don't know. So I could tell.